Just over 5 months ago, Sucker Punch released Infamous 2 into store shelves and as a digital download from the PlayStation Network. Infamous 2 offered a far better gameplay experience from its predecessor thanks to its improved speed and new moves. Now the engine and the first island of Infamous 2 are back in the new PlayStation Network exclusive title, Infamous Festival of Blood. The game tells a story of how the demon of New Marais, Cole McGrath, became and conquered his vampire affairs in just one night. Does this vampire tale offer what is expected of Sucker Punch, or should you avoid this with a loaf of garlic?
I would recognize such a beautiful pair of eyes.
Blood of the Conduit, Cole McGrath has revived the supernatural vampire Bloody Mary. In doing so, Bloody Mary bites Cole and curses the superpowered Electric Man into a blood-sucking vampire. As the rules of vampire state, once someone is cursed, they have 24 hours to kill the original vampire who bit them before the effects of the bite permanently turn you into a fanger for life.
Come on. I read Dracula. I know how this works.
I control you now. In fact, come sunrise, all of your free will be mine.
Screw you.
Cole, however, only has 8 hours before the sun rises to vanquish him, but a bigger plot around the daytime thickens throughout the 4-hour campaign. The game appears to take place someplace in between Infamous 2, even though it's chronologically impossible, leaving fans scratching their heads at times. The game itself could have been a part of Infamous 2 in all honesty, since it practically is Infamous 2 when it comes down to its roots. The overall outcome of the story does not matter, since the entire game feels more of a parody of an Infamous game rather than a full-fledged campaign. Another major flaw with the story is not giving the newer and unfamiliar players of the Infamous universe a backstory to Cole McGrath, though this claim could be countered by Infamous being easily accessible to the masses thanks to the Welcome Back program earlier this year. People who want to try an Infamous game should probably start with the original and avoid using this as an entry-level game, unless you anticipate taking the massive plot holes like a grain of salt. Newcomers will feel out of place, and the fans will feel the story is out of place thanks to Infamous 2. If you remove the continuity part, though, the game is an interesting tale and is able to keep players engaged. Overall, the story receives a 6 out of 10. Where Festival of Blood really rocks is its gameplay. You have an open world to explore complete with people, cars, scalable buildings, and of course, superpowers. You can glide with Cole's static thrusters, or take advantage of vampire blood and burst into a swarm of bats to fly across New Marais. When the new blood meter is empty, Cole needs to bite the neck of an unsuspecting pedestrian in order to refill and continue flying. And when Cole runs out of electricity, you can power him up by holding L2, which also regenerates Cole's health when he is injured. The game revolves around missions, but most of them seem they all involve going from point A to point B, with X number of vampire enemies in between.
Embrace the hidden world.
New moves and upgrades are no longer unlocked by experience points this time around, but rather performing certain tasks. Some involve killing a certain number of enemies, biting a certain amount of people, or even finding notes left by Bloody Mary herself, which dives deeper into her past. The combat, however, is very fun and is able to entertain throughout the entire campaign.
Man, the vampire sense is tingling.
Another new move is the Vampire Vision. By holding R2, Cole will be able to see more than meets the eye. This vision can decipher hidden clues for locations of Bloody Mary's notes, or is sometimes used in missions. Overall, the gameplay is fun and offers challenges at times. There are occasional moments where the game throws too many enemies at the player, but a reload or two of a checkpoint will give the players the idea of how to go about a situation without too much of a loss. You can even lose yourself scaling building tops, fighting mobs of vampires, collecting jars of blood, or trying to achieve a trophy. The gameplay overall receives a 9 out of 10. The music in this game is similar to Infamous 2, but effectively sets the atmosphere needed to portray the dark night of New Marais. There are echoes of jazz across the streets, and street performers' drums pounding in the background with roars of crowds accompanying them, and even some nice action music when need be.
She threatened to dress me up in a sailor outfit, Z.
Eric Ladin reprises the role of Cole McGrath, So if you didn't mind the slight southern accent in Cole's voice from Infamous 2, then you'll be welcoming him back. Just don't expect a lot of speaking roles for Cole this time around. Caleb Moody really takes the cake as Zeke,
Good. Glad to hear that.
with a narrative voice that keeps players engaged and is able to deliver his
ahead.
role flawlessly.
These beers aren't gonna drink themselves.
Overall, the sound receives a 10 out of 10. Given that this game is a $10 purchase for the PlayStation Network, you really can't go wrong. And in all honesty, you could do a lot worse with $10. Even Ratchet's mini-adventure, Quest for Booty, was a $15 game for a 2-hour game. The game may lack key elements like chromatic changes that the series is known for, but even with those lost elements, the game still delivers a fun experience that can get you into the Halloween spirit. Infamous Festival of Blood receives an 8.3 out of 10.